Good morning. I'm Sue Price, and I'm joined by my daughter Stacy and my granddaughter Olivia. I'm honored to be the host for this year's Impact Breakfast. Last year was the first year we tried this format of a breakfast to showcase Federation's impact. And it was so successful, we're excited to do it again this year. And we have a full house this morning, which is wonderful. My husband of blessed memory, Jay, got me involved with the Federation, and I have been a Lion of Judah for many years. In fact, I have been a volunteer with the Federation for over 20 years. Let's go ahead and do the hamotzi so we can start breakfast. Too late. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam motzi lehem min haaretz. Amen.
We all miss Jay. Sue, you and your family have been such a big inspiration and shown such leadership in the community. Thank you for everything you do. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming this morning. My name is Josh Blatt, and I'm honored to serve as board chair of the Jewish Federation. Look around. What an amazing turnout we have today. Wow. This Impact Breakfast reached capacity almost immediately after it was announced. It's really great to be here with everybody today. I imagine you, like me, have all been emotionally drained by all that we've experienced since October 7th. It's taken a toll. When I took on this role, I did so knowing Cincinnati punched above its weight class. I knew we had an amazing philanthropic community here. I know Cincinnati is one of the best, but I want to tell you, what I've witnessed since October 7th has been beyond my wildest imagination. Cincinnati and the greater Jewish community have done so much to meet these unprecedented challenges. Think about this. Our community alone has raised almost $4.5 million to help people in need. It's amazing. Many of these dollars have come from new donors, and many from people who have reconnected with the Federation. Nationally, the Federation system has raised much more. I think almost close to $1 billion. Danielle and David will touch more about this in a little bit. When we began planning today, it was obviously before October 7th, and the intent was to celebrate the impact that our annual campaign has on our community and across the world. Needless to say, today we'll talk mostly about the post-October 7th work that we've done. But make no mistake, what we do every day and every year makes an important difference in people's lives, just as the dollars we have raised in the past 4 months have made a difference for those in Israel. So we have a full agenda today, and if everybody follows their roles, we'll be done by 9:30, I promise you. So, before I introduce our next speaker, I want to first thank Bobby Fisher, our campaign director, and the entire campaign team for the amazing work that they do. Our campaign chair, sorry, Bobby, guys. Campaign. Now I'd like to introduce our CEO, Danielle Minson, and our Chief Development Officer, David Harris.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Josh. Bobby does have an office upstairs, but he is just the chair. He doesn't work at the Federation yet. It's great to see you all here. Welcome to the second annual Jewish Federation of Cincinnati Impact Breakfast. I'm David Harris, the Chief Development Officer for the Jewish Federation of Cincinnati, and I'm joined on stage by our CEO, Danielle Minson. Thank you to Sue, Stacy, and Olivia for getting us started this morning. Your ability to chair anything like this with compassion, with poise, with energy are just true gifts to the community, and we're so grateful and appreciative of all the work that you've put into this and all the work that you do for our community at large. I've had the opportunity to work with Sue and her family for a long time, and every opportunity is really fulfilling, and we're just so grateful. You are shining examples of the kind of volunteers that we are so grateful to have in our community. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, David. So hello and good morning, everyone. It is so good to see all of you, and it's so nice to see so many familiar faces, as well as I'm thrilled to see so many new faces. And I want to thank you for giving us your time this morning. And if you are someone new to the community or are here to learn more, I especially want to thank you for joining us today. And I hope that you'll walk away having met someone new and having learned more about how your gift matters here in Cincinnati, in Israel, and throughout the world. So before I start, I want to take a moment to thank the many elected officials and their staff who are here today. It is so valuable for you to be here. Your presence matters, especially during these difficult times. And so I want to thank each one of you for your support of the Jewish community, for your friendship, and for your leadership. And there are a lot of elected officials here today, which actually is such a powerful statement for all of us to see the allies in this room. It's also important for me to acknowledge each one of you, so I want to thank you. So I'd like to start by thanking Cincinnati City Council members Anna Albee, Mika Owens, Seth Walsh, and Mark Jeffries. Thank you. We also have staff members from both Mark Jeffries and Anna Albee's office here, so thank you for joining us also. From the Ohio House of Representatives, we thank Jessica Miranda and Rachel Baker. We also thank staff members representing the offices of the United States Congressman Greg Landsman, Brad Wenstrup, and Warren Davidson. I also wanted to take a moment to welcome Sister Kelly Brown from Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Kearney's office. Jan Michelle was unable to join us, but thank you very much, Sister Kelly, for being here. And finally, I just also want to thank the president of PNC Bank, Warren Weber. Thank you, Warren, and the entire team for being great allies and friends of the Jewish community. And to everyone else, thank you. Thank you for being here and welcome. We promise to show you just how the Federation helps the most vulnerable and energizes and protects Jewish life in Cincinnati, in Israel, and throughout the world, and I'm going to keep that promise. But first, at this historic moment, I want to talk about the crisis in Israel. The October 7th Hamas massacre inside Israel's borders is an attack unprecedented in my lifetime. As has been said before, October 7th was the worst day in Jewish history since the Holocaust. Jews are less than 2% of the global population, and most of us live in the United States or Israel. The Jewish community in Cincinnati, Jews around the world, are a part of Israel. We are implicated in each other's histories and lives. This crisis is not merely the crisis of the moment. October 7th is the crisis of our generation. Because of this crisis, which created a profound rift between the world before October 7th and the world after October 7th, I want to give us here, gathered in community, a moment to honor the fallen as well as the hostages still in Gaza. So please join me in observing a moment of silence in memory of those who were murdered on October 7th, in memory of those tragically killed in Israel, in the Israel Defense Forces and the Israeli civilians, in memory of the thousands of innocent civilians killed in Gaza. We remember as well the American soldiers recently killed in this war. And today marks 124 days, 4 months to the day after October 7th, the longest war in Israel's history. We hold in our hearts the over 130 hostages still being held in Gaza, and we pray for their safe return home. In front of you on your tables, you will find a light. Please turn it on to remember and to honor the lives that were lost and the lives of those still in harm's way. And please join me in this moment of silence. Thank you. So, moving forward, we are a diverse Jewish community, and I know we each come to this crisis from different places. Yet for everyone, these events and their ramifications feel close to home. The pain, the fear, the grief, the confusion, and the determination are deep. I feel these emotions strongly, and I know many of you do too. Every Jewish person in Israel, throughout the world, and in America has been changed by this crisis. Israeli author Yossi Klein Halevi warns us that October 7th changed everything by breaking the promise at the heart of Zionism, that Jews can be safe inside their homeland, living normal lives without fear. The old Israel died, and we do not yet know what the new Israel will look like. We in Cincinnati are also changed. I've heard from some friends who now wear their public markers of Judaism when they did not before, and others, including myself, now show public markers of Judaism like we did not before. I wear my Magen David very proudly. Many of us feel both a desire to support Israelis and the Jewish state, and also to honor our humanitarian instincts to end the suffering in the region, including in Gaza. And almost everyone wants to achieve both peace and safety, but everyone has conflicting visions of what that looks like. And October 7th has intensified everything. It has made the division worse, and at the same time, it's made the need for peace and safety even more urgent. In addition, because of October 7th, anti-Semitism is suddenly a devastating issue locally. This comes as a shock to many of us, especially those of us coming into adulthood in the 1980s and the 1990s. We felt accepted, we were assimilated, and yet the immediate eruption of raw anti-Semitism worldwide has been truly disturbing. We experience the cognitive dissonance of being both accepted and hated. Nationally, anti-Semitism since October 7th has spiked 360%. In Cincinnati, anti-Semitism has grown dramatically, especially in our high schools and at our universities. As Jewish students are harassed for being Jewish or pro-Israel, we can no longer assume that our children and our grandchildren won't experience prejudice. We are in the middle of change. What is our response, and how can we find a way forward? These histories are difficult. We carry our experiences, we carry our opinions, and we carry our love of Israel and our justice very close to our hearts. Almost everyone in this room has connections to Israel. Many of us have been to Israel and even lived in Israel. Many of us have relatives there, or know someone's son or daughter who's currently in the IDF, or even know someone who is still being held hostage. Some of us may have friends in Gaza as well, or Palestinian neighbors who are also suffering. We may know for people who've worked for peace for decades, and we also may know Israelis who went home to fight for their country. There are no easy answers. I do, however, see two responses moving forward for which the Federation is uniquely suited. Our one response is through creating spaces for conversations. The second response is by fundraising and allocating those funds. So we're going to talk a little bit about conversations. In our role as community conveners and advocates, we know that relationships matter, that having allies matters, and that's why it's so important for so many of you who are allies for you to be here today, and I thank you again for that. It matters. During crises like today, sometimes conversations can be deeper and even more raw, and sometimes our conversations need to be careful as we navigate maintaining connection across profound differences. How we have conversations with those we love the most and how we disagree is crucial. We need to be heard, and we need to be able to hear. We need to show up. And our conversations with those, including our children, who may have strongly opposing views, can be painful and difficult. And our tradition is in our favor, since our tradition tells us to value arguing, questioning, and digging deeper. Halevi talks about Jews and of Palestinians having narratives that are irreconcilable, but must nevertheless be allowed to be heard. We here, too, must keep talking and continue holding the space to grapple with the difficult questions. The Federation, through our Israel and overseas work and our Jewish Community Relations Council, has renewed our commitment to education, to advocacy, and to conversations across differences. And I am proud of the ongoing and substantive work that we have historically done in this space and our doubling of effort because of this crisis. Our second response is to fundraise and to allocate those funds. And the rest of this program will show you how the Cincinnati Jewish community helps to respond to crisis. We help. We support the people of Israel and the people all over the world. And as part of the Jewish Federations of North America, we are the single largest charity currently working in Israel. And often, we've been the only charity supporting the non-governmental organizations, the NGOs there on the ground doing the work. The NGOs have told us that they both appreciate our generosity and our nimbleness. This is what we are uniquely built to do. The 146 Jewish federations in North America are built for this. Through the power of this collective, we elevate your impact. And at these unprecedented times, we will again put the entire weight of our support behind the Israeli people. This is the mission of our generation, and this is how we respond.
The Jewish Federation is built for this. We are Cincinnati's strategic planner and mobilizer. We raise and allocate funds, and we work with our partners to support Jews and others in need around the world. We fund programming by every organization on this chart behind me and more. And we run effective, nationally praised programs like Create Your Jewish Legacy, which are working to ensure our community's future. We have fought to support, strengthen, and protect Jewish Cincinnati for 127 years, and we are proud to do it still today. We are committed to building a Jewish community that is vibrant, inclusive, and diverse. We are also the best way for you to help in Israel and overseas. The same day the crisis hit those kibbutzim in the envelope around the Gaza Strip, we were there helping. The Federation each year commits a significant amount, a third of the Federation's annual campaign, to support Jews globally and in Israel. We are committed to caring for Jews in 70 countries, from Ukraine to Cuba to Brazil to the former Soviet Union. We have created a strong web of support that strengthens and protects Jewish communities abroad. Our two largest partners are the Jewish Agency for Israel and the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, or the JDC. For example, because of this expansive network, 91,925 Ukrainians have been able to make Aliyah to Israel since the Ukraine-Russia war began. The crisis in Israel has certainly made this year different. Here's what we've done since October 7th. We've raised additional dollars for enhanced security across Jewish Cincinnati, increasing guard hours, and taking other measures. On October 11th, just 4 days after the attack, we convened a community gathering which brought together 2,000 and more community members together in solidarity. On November 14th, we brought 4 buses and a plane full of Cincinnatians to march for Israel in Washington, D.C. We've developed substantial resources to teach about and advocate for Israel, as well as educate about anti-Semitism and promote democratic values. Our Jewish Community Relations Council has worked tirelessly in the face of a tripling of anti-Semitic incidents. I'm proud to say that we have raised almost $4.5 million for the survivors of the attacks of October 7th and others in Israel who need our help. Some of you are here in this room today because you gave on October 7th. You are bringing light during this dark time. Thank you. Jewish federations have stepped up, and the work to support victims of the crisis continues. I hope you know that the generous gift most of you have given to help the emergency fund in Israel is being put to work, supporting 4 main kinds of relief efforts. Lifeline services, this means the most immediate needs, such as food, clothing, housing, and other support for evacuated families. Medical and trauma relief, economic relief, and community resilience and rebuilding. A total of 472 organizations have received funding from the $775 million raised in the United States and Canada from compassionate people like you. That's a lot. Some of the funding supports lone soldiers. A lone soldier is somebody who serves in the Israel Defense Forces who does not have any family in Israel. I myself was a lone soldier. I moved from Wichita, Kansas to Israel in 1992 and served in the IDF Artillery Corps for nearly 3 years as a commander and another 3 years as a commander in the reserves, with most of my service being in southern Lebanon. And I'm proud to say that Federation dollars also are helping lone soldiers who need extra support during their service, and especially during this crisis. We have lone soldiers from our own community who are serving in the IDF today. Thank you to all of you for supporting lone soldiers, be they friends or family or otherwise. It's the power of the collective that makes this work possible. Together, we elevate our impact. Together, we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We're going to show you a video that demonstrates your help overseas. The beginning shows a woman entering the home of a grandmother who lived in a kibbutz in the Gaza envelope. She was murdered on October 7th. Her grandchildren asked this woman to see if anything was left. Let's take a look.
I wish I would have brought gloves. God, your house is just burnt to bits. This is from the house. And there it is. I have this whole house. This is all that's left of the grandma. Her entire life and everything she was.
These are challenging times, not just here in Cincinnati, but in Israel, Ukraine, and in other countries overseas. The Jewish Federation is built for these moments. In Israel, we provide financial relief for victims of terror within 48 hours, followed by long-term rehabilitative care. We have evacuated more than 2,000 residents of our absorption centers from the line of fire. We are providing expanded care for 5,000 plus Holocaust survivors. Because of you, we have delivered over 8,000 food baskets so residents can stay safe near shelters. We provided immediate funding for Gaza border municipalities that suffered the most to address humanitarian needs. We are providing additional support for lone soldiers, offering emotional therapy sessions. In Israel, playrooms are being built at hotels where evacuated families are now staying. And because of you, we mobilized over 2,000 community members to be a part of our community's solidarity gatherings in Cincinnati and in Washington, D.C. Because of you, in Ukraine, we worked with our partners on the ground to evacuate and provide temporary housing to refugees and to provide emergency support and security and trauma relief. We provided 507,000 residents with humanitarian aid and distributed 354 tons of clothing to those in need. We distributed 702,000 meals to families and provided over 30,000 residents with mental health services. You, along with our partners, allow us to do this crucial work.
I love how we ended with the group from Crimbo Wings thanking us. They're a group you funded, a youth movement that is inclusive of people with and without disabilities.
Thank you, David. So now that you have an overview of what we do, I want to end by showing you just a few shots of real people you have helped. Hillel at the University of Cincinnati told us about a student who had never before been to Hillel, who came in because she was feeling isolated. Within 1 week of her turning to Hillel, she was on a bus headed to the March for Israel in Washington, D.C. with us. Together, we did that. Cincinnati high school students and their parents knew where to turn when their high school peers chanted, "Death to the Jews," and Hitler should have finished the job in the school hallways. Every time I say that, I choke up. But together, we were able to respond. This photo behind me, this is Rita Borodinskaya, an 84-year-old grandmother with health issues and a Holocaust survivor who lived alone in Ukraine. When the war started, she was in danger, and her granddaughter in Israel wanted her to get out, and now she's made Aliyah and lives with her daughter and granddaughter in Kiryat Chaim. Together, we did that. This is Omri. Omri and his family are still in a hotel by the Dead Sea, having left Kibbutz Kisufim after Hamas attacked. We set up a school for him and provided adults trained in trauma care to support him. Together, we did that. This is Sapir Bitan, a psychiatrist who was evacuated with her family. Right now, she takes care of her neighbors who were traumatized by the October 7th attacks. Together, we support her before and after October 7th. And finally, this is Aryeh, a paramedic. On October 7th, he responded all day and into the night. We provided him and other first responders with better equipment that saved more lives. Together, we did that. Because we have built a system that can handle both calm and crisis, we're able to respond. We double down, we dig in, we respond with skill, with efficiency, and with what people need. And I am amazed and so proud of the generosity of our Cincinnati Jewish community. Thank you for helping us all respond together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rini Levy. I'm originally from South America, but I've been in Cincinnati for over 27 years. During this time, I have been involved in the Jewish community in various ways. This year, I am honored to be the co-chair of the community portion of the Federation's annual campaign. Our campaign creates light. I see it every day with every gift that comes in. That light helps our community, from isolated seniors to anxious teens dealing with mental health issues, to those that simply want greater Jewish connections. I am proud to be, like Sue and Josh, a volunteer with the Jewish Federation of Cincinnati during these dark days. I have the honor of introducing our speaker. We spent the morning together yesterday, and I can tell you that we are going to hear an inspiring story from a unique perspective. She is a nonprofit leader and a Ukrainian-Israeli Jew. She was born in Ukraine to a non-Jewish mother and a father who had to repress his Jewish identity. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Jewish Agency for Israel sprang into action, giving her family a chance to make Aliyah and start a new life in the Promised Land. She served 2 years in the IDF and learned about her Jewish heritage. She has spent her life continuing to serve the Jewish people, most recently in Ukraine. In 2023, she was selected to be on the Hadassah list of 18 women who are shaping the future of Zionism. I am honored to introduce Anna Suzonov.
Good morning, everybody. Before I jump in, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here in such a large crowd this early in the morning. If I was you, I'm not sure I would be here. I'm just kidding. But before I begin and jump in about my story, I want to thank you for changing my life. Thanks to you, thanks to your involvement, I'm standing here in front of you. And probably you think to yourself, who's that girl? I don't know her. We have no idea how we impact her life. But you did. And I'll tell you why. So, as you heard, I was born in Ukraine, in a small town called Berezne, in the northwestern side of Ukraine. I was born with no Jewish identity and grew up as the perfect Ukrainian girl. So, my last name is Sazonov, but by blood, I'm Lieberman. Identity crisis? Yes, for sure. My great-grandmother, she was a perfect Jew. She braided challah, spoke Yiddish, but she lived in Ukraine during the Soviet Union era. And to be a Jew during the Soviet Union era, it's not that fun. Basically, you're going to suffer from discrimination, anti-Semitism, and a lot of hate. So after giving birth, and my grandfather, Daniel, was born, she got divorced and remarried. But she chose to remarry to a non-Jewish fella, Stefan Sazonov. And she did it thinking about the future. Stefan Sazonov was very involved with the Red Army, and he knew that something bad is going to happen to the Jews. So what he did, he basically changed the identification of our entire family. So instead of saying that we're Jewish, we're simply Ukrainians. So that's how my grandfather grew up, that's how my father grew up, and that's how I grew up. Living in the Soviet Union era as a Jew, again, as I said, it's not that easy. You suffer, but you cannot leave because the borders are closed. So imagine a situation that you are suffering from anti-Semitism, but you cannot do anything about it. Then we had a very big disaster in Europe, and that was Chernobyl, one of the biggest nuclear disasters in Europe. I grew up 90 miles from Chernobyl, basically grew up with the enemy that you cannot hear, you cannot feel, you cannot taste, but it's there, eating you daily. A few years after that, Soviet Union collapsed, and that brought inflation, economical crisis, confusion. Nobody knew what to do. And there is no food in the supermarket. What you grow is what you eat, but if you eat it, that might kill you. So my parents were struggling to feed their children. And then my mom heard a commercial brought you by the Jewish Agency for Israel, calling for the Jews to make aliyah to the land of milk and honey. So she goes to my dad and tells him, you guys, they hate you for a reason, right? You guys like Jewishy, right? Let's explore this opportunity. So that's what they did. My grandfather and my dad met with representatives of the Jewish Agency for Israel in Kiev and started the aliyah process. They were sitting in the office, and then the aliyah representatives asked them for some proofs. Show us that you're Jewish. Show us the documents. But we didn't have the documents because our identification was changed to be Ukrainians. So the story that I was told is that my grandfather asked my dad to step outside of the room, and then my grandfather showed them something. Good, your imagination working this early in the morning. Yep. He showed them the first thing that a Jewish boy at the age of 8 days is getting. A few months later, we're on our way to Israel. We came by boat from the port of Odessa to Haifa. And I remember as a 6-year-old, I was standing in the front of the boat with my dad, and we came to the Haifa port in the middle of the night. And I was standing in front of Har Carmel, the Carmel Mountain. And it was full of lights. And as a 6-year-old, I come from Ukraine, from Berezne, that back then was a village, today is a town, we've been upgraded. There was no lights after 7 p.m. So for me, it was like local Disneyland, basically. I was so excited. But above, the lights and the excitement, one of the main things that Israel gave me is Jewish identity. That the first time ever that my grandfather, a Holocaust survivor, put a yarmulke, went to synagogue and started practice Judaism. He started to feel free in his country. And I started to explore my own Jewish identity. So I grew up in Israel, did the whole Israeli gig, been to the military for 2 years, traveled the world, came back, got my undergrad degree in business and economics, worked in the field, and then I felt that there is something bigger that I can do in this life, impact other people. So I decided to join the Jewish Agency again and become the Israel Fellow. So basically the emissary, the shlicha, to Hillel at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. So I packed 5 boxes, 2 suitcases, and moved to Atlanta. I didn't know anything about college campuses. In America, the only thing I knew is American Pie, the movie. But definitely the Emory students are far, far away from that movie. After 1 semester working with college students in this Jewish world, I drank the Kool-Aid and decided to stay in the nonprofit Jewish world. I moved to Boston to get my master's degree in Jewish leadership and an MBA in nonprofit management. And that's what led me to Columbia, South Carolina, where I was the executive director of the local federation. I was one of the youngest executive directors of all 146 federations across North America, and definitely the only Ukrainian one to lead a federation. From everything that you heard right now, and all my experiences and everything that I did, nothing prepared me for this moment. February 24th, 2022, Russia invaded my homeland. Russia invaded Ukraine. As you can see by this picture, I was at home in Columbia, South Carolina. I was crying, I was confused. I didn't know what to do, what's going to be next. It's my history, our history, my homeland, my friend, my people, my family. What are we going to do? So I did what anyone in my age will do. I went to social media and started recording myself and started to share my story with others to explain to other people what Ukraine is, because many people didn't know. And I was so grateful to work for the Federation and be part of Jewish Federation of North America, because we immediately sprang into action and we started a crisis fund and we started to support our partner organizations on the ground that serve people day and night. I was so happy because, again, we were built for that. The Federation was there yesterday, we're here today, and we're going to be there tomorrow. We immediately knew what to do. But then I started to see more and more articles about Holocaust survivors that survived Hitler, but now they're dying because of Putin. I asked myself, what can we do to make an impact? So because I speak the language, I speak Ukrainian, Russian, Hebrew, and English, that's kind of made me a good candidate to do something that's more than just fundraising. So I flew to Poland. Jewish Federation of North America, along with our partner organization, the Jewish Agency for Israel and JDC, started a volunteer mission to the border of Ukraine and Poland. I was in Medyka. It's the border point. For 2 weeks, I was standing there, no matter what the weather is, day in, day out, welcoming refugees. Welcoming in their own language, so that gave them a little bit more security. And when I asked them, do you know where you want to go, or you know what your next steps? They told me that they just want to go home. But home is not an option for them. Home is too dangerous, or they lost it. And they have to start all over again. But we were there to help them. The beautiful thing that I saw at the border is that there were more flags of Israel and Star of David than any other flag. And we were standing on Polish soil. 80 years ago, the situation was very, very different. But we were there because we value the value of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. We immediately dared to serve other people, to help, to make this world a better place. I want to share with you the story of Nadezhda. Nadezhda, when you translate it, it's hope, tikva. She's a 79-year-old from Kherson. Kherson is on the eastern side of Ukraine, southeastern side. And her daughter Tanya reached out to the Jewish Agency for Israel and JDC and asked for our help to help evacuate her. As you can see, Nadezhda, she's a handicap, and it was much more difficult to get her out. Kherson was bombed every day. It was about to be occupied by the Russians, and we had to think and act quickly. So again, we joined all together, the Jewish Agency for Israel, the JDC, with the other partner organizations on the ground, and we were able to evacuate Nadezhda and to bring her to the border. And as you can see in this picture, we have many people involved. And thanks to you, she was able to celebrate Passover with her family in Israel, in her second home. Jeff and I also was recognized by the city of Kiev, the capital city, for all the actions that we've been doing. Basically, you were recognized with everything that you do and did for Ukraine. And we're always going to continue in our involvement and following the values of Tikkun Olam, Klal Yisrael, and Tzedakah are bringing us to those moments. Following the trip to the border, I was going in and out and going to Ukraine, back to the US, Ukraine, back to the US. And I can guarantee you that the war is still happening. There is still atrocity, threat, and people are dying every day. People are living in fear. We don't hear it on the news, but it's still there. On my last trip to the US, I was celebrating Shabbat dinner with my friend in South Carolina. We're having a wonderful time. And then I went to sleep, and I woke up Saturday morning to many messages from my friends, checking on me, making sure that I'm okay and my family is okay. And I kind of was confused, so I reached out to my friend back in Ukraine. I asked what happened overnight. What did I miss? What happened in Ukraine that people are checking on me so much? And then he told me that, I'm sorry, this time it's not Ukraine, it's Israel. Wow, that felt like a bullet into my stomach. I felt the pain, the PTSD, the stress. My family, my friends, my history, my other homeland is at war. Because fortunately and unfortunately, I have experience to working in humanitarian relief and experience with wars, I start to guide my friends and others in this outstanding challenge. Guide them what to do with their mental health, how to raise funds, how to help others. Even the military reach out to me and ask me how to evacuate people and what will be the best approach to this. With all the pain, with all the confusion, we responded immediately. As you heard, Jewish Federation of North America, all Federation of North America, raised over $700 million to support Israel. Our community, your community, raised over $4 million for Israel. And I want to thank you for supporting my family, my people, our people. You give me hope. There is a long way ahead of us, but together we can make a change. Being part of Federation brings more moments like this one. This video was taken less than 24 hours before this amazing group of people, Ukrainian refugee, made their way to Israel, to safety, to home. The past 2 years and all the experience that I had really taught me and showed me that this is the power of Federation, this is the power of community, and this is the power of peoplehood. Your involvement with Federation impacts people every day. You help me come from hiding to providing, from hiding my Jewish identity to being proud Jew and provide it to others. Let's keep following the values of Tikkun Olam, Klal Yisrael, and Tzedakah, and to ensure that our community is strong, united, and thriving at home, in Israel, and around the world. Thank you for being part of Federation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing your story and your courage and your commitment to Tikkun Olam, to repairing the world. That was really inspirational. Hi, everyone. Hey now. I'm Kai Schneider, and I'm also a volunteer. I'm Reni's sidekick, the other community campaign co-chair. My job is simply to remind you all the impact you have learned about. and knowledge you have gained and ask you to consider a gift this morning. My wife Nicole and I give because we understand the blessing of being born Jewish and into a Jewish community, and particularly the blessing of being born into Cincinnati's Jewish community. Because we were raised Jewish in this Jewish community, we were taught the importance of tzedakah and helping the Jewish community succeed. Cincinnati's Jewish community has been our extended family, shaping who we are and what we believe. They are our community. They are our biggest supporters. And of course, being Jewish is something we're really proud of. It's our chosen way of life. It's given us stability, a moral compass, and a sense of belonging. And Cincinnati, with its rich history and close-knit community, has played a huge part in that. Now, I wish I could stand here, and just talk about the good stuff. And we can't ignore the recent atrocities in Israel. Even though it's far away, it hits close to home. And it reminds us why our support for the Jewish Federation is so crucial. I'm so thankful every day for the protection programs like the Federation's security arm, Safe Cincinnati program. Every day I drop my kids off at Rockburn, one of the 3 local Jewish day schools. I remember the Jewish Federation. Or going to any of our organizations. It's nerve-wracking and scary every day. But the additional security does give me a major sense of relief. SAFE is a Federation program, and Rockburn is our partner who benefits from Federation allocations. It feels so good to know that we are helping to support this. Our contributions aren't just about writing a check. They're about making a difference when our community needs it the most. We're all in this together, and by supporting the Federation, we're helping educate, support the elderly, send kids to camp, and keep our culture alive. It's about making sure our traditions continue, even in the face of challenges. So, Nicole and I give because we're grateful for what we have, and we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. The Federation allows us to do this. And now I'd like to invite Rini to join me on stage for a request from us to all of you.
Thank you, Kai, for sharing your story. We are grateful to have Nicole and your family as part of our community. Kai and I now want to ask you to consider a new gift to the Federation or an increase to your existing gift. You know now how powerful your gift is. These gifts will be matched through the Jewish Foundation of Cincinnati's generous partnership. Many of you have already given to the 2024 annual campaign or to the Israel Emergency Fund, but I am asking you to consider giving again. The goal for the 2024 annual campaign is $6.1 million, and we are currently just shy of $5 million. The need, as you have seen, is urgent. You can help the next Cincinnati Hillel student, the next Ukrainian making Aliyah, the next emergency medic save more lives. You can help the next Anna Zazonov. When you walked in this morning, you received an envelope. For those of you who have already given this year, thank you. Please raise your hand so we can recognize your impact. Again, thank you so much. For those who have not had the opportunity to give yet, I now ask you to please consider making a donation to this year's campaign. If you take a few moments at your table to fill out your pledge card, the pledge card lists a suggested gift amount. This amount may be too low or too high. Choose what feels right for you. For those of you giving for the first time, please consider $1 a day.
Once you've filled out your pledge card, please raise it in the air like this. A Federation team member will come to you to answer any questions and collect your pledge cards. If you prefer to give online or want to give an additional amount, please scan the QR code up on the screen or talk to any of us. Now I'm going to pause for a few minutes to give you a chance to give. Thank you. It really does feel good to give, doesn't it? Thank you for responding. You have just elevated your impact. It is because of you that so many will now get the help they need. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.